Today we're going to talk about the hardest day of the no contact rule as seen by our clients. And specifically, I'm going to make an argument that the hardest part of no contact usually is going to occur immediately after you start it. In other words, the first week seems to be where most people are having trouble. Additionally, after reading over 100 posts related to no contact on our private Facebook support group and looking for patterns, I have located a total of 4 major struggle points. Now, these are essentially the days that you're going to have the hardest time with the no contact rule. So as always, let's just dive in right now so that you can have a better understanding of how these work. So the very first struggle point is something we already kind of referenced, and that's immediately after starting the no contact rule. But why? Well, human beings in general are really resistant to change. Yet this is in and of itself a paradox because life is full of change no matter how you spin it. But when you look at the no contact rule, it's essentially coming on the heels of a great change. You and your ex have most likely broken up, and the no contact rule itself is another change. The breakup is a sudden change in habit. You go from committed to single. A committed person has a certain pattern that they fall into. For example, one of my relationships, a long distance relationship, worked this way. I'd wake up and the first thing I would do is text my ex, "Good morning." Chat with the ex for 30 minutes, then get breakfast, go to work, chat with the ex periodically throughout work, come home from work, continue chatting with the ex, FaceTime the ex for a few hours, go to bed, rinse, and repeat. This is what it was like every single day. This was the established pattern. Yet, when a breakup inevitably occurred, my whole world was turned upside down. Add in the fact that most experts do recommend a period of no contact to kind of put yourself back together, you have another habitual change, and it can leave you feeling shell-shocked and full of doubt. So you go from the sudden change in habit where you're talking to your ex every day to not talking to them or talking to them sporadically during the breakup. And then you go through this other change where you're doing the no contact rule, and instead of being allowed to talk to your ex, you're not allowed to talk to them at all for 30 days or so. Well, won't ignoring my ex be rude? That's the number one question that most people have. And my answer always is the same. No. You are broken up with them and you owe them nothing. But does this mean I can't be friends with them? No, the no contact rule is not permanent. You can still be friends with them. Here's the point I'm trying to make. Expect the beginning of the no contact rule to be bumpy. It's a lot of change happening all at once during an incredibly vulnerable time. And it happens to be where most of our own clients say that they struggle. Of course, there's a few other important struggle points to take note of. The second struggle point is limited no contact breaks. So one of the other common struggle points we saw from our ex during the no contact rule actually occurred when an ex reached out to them. So for example, I'm going to take an example of a real life text message or text sort of exchange that happened during someone's no contact rule in our group. So essentially, this person's like 40 days into the no contact rule when their ex hits them with this text. "I just wanted to know if there was any mail for me." Now, this is a tricky situation because technically speaking, mail is considered items or essential items that they are entitled to. So our client has no choice but to break the no contact rule. But the rules behind breaking the no contact rule for item exchanges are pretty simple. You basically jump into texting them, keep it all about business, and then jump back into the no contact rule, and maybe even extend it a few, like a week or something. So anyways, he did well. He said, "Hey, yeah, I do have some mail. What do you want me to do with it?" The ex responds, "I'll come by sometime and grab it if I can." But this freaks him out. He doesn't know what to do because technically speaking, he doesn't want to see her. That screws up his no contact rule. So he responds, "Okay, well, I'm kind of busy this week, but I have time Wednesday after 3. Everything is good so far, right? I do have some mail. What do you want me to do with it?" The ex says, "Yeah, I'll come over for it." Our client starts kind of freaking out a bit. He says, "Okay, well, I'm a bit busy this week, but I can do Wednesday after 3. And here's where our client goes wrong. The ex hits them with an extremely emotional text and baits them into further breaking no contact. "Why did you treat me the way you did?" So it's seemingly off topic from the mail thing. So very clearly what's happening here is you have the ex who's reaching out to our client during a no contact rule where they haven't really talked to them at all and using the mail as a way to bait them, hook them in, and then hit them with the, why did you treat me the way you did? It's raw and emotional, exactly the type of hook that most of our clients can't resist. And it bears repeating that any type of item exchange like this is considered a situation where you're forced to break no contact to get their items back to them. But some exes are savvy to this and will literally use this limited no contact rule break as a way to get you to respond. And it's so hard to resist not responding to an emotionally charged topic. I mean, look at what the ex said. Why did you treat me the way you did? It's almost an accusation. It makes our clients want to stand up and defend themselves. Here's my point. Any type of situations like this that you are forced to break no contact create a struggle.
Real quick, I want to say that if you're new to this YouTube channel or you're trying to figure out what you should be doing to get your ex back and you're trying to learn if you even have a chance in your specific circumstance, probably the smartest thing for you to do is actually stop by our website, www.exboyfriendrecovery.com, or take our Ex Recovery Chances quiz that can be found at exboyfriendrecovery.com. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, taking that free quiz is super easy to do. All you have to simply do is look in the description link below this YouTube video and click on the link you see there. It will take you directly to the quiz where you can fill it out and get an easy answer on what you should be doing going forward and overall what your chances look like in your specific situation. All right, so let's get you back to the video.
Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, the third struggle point we've noticed people have is actually not hearing at all from their ex. So many people equate the success of a no contact rule to its ability to elicit an anxious response from their ex. We often get seduced by these stories online of a no contact rule driving an ex so crazy that they blow your phone up with 15 text messages, the last of which is begging for you to come back. I made a mistake, come back to me. Of course, when that doesn't happen immediately, you rationalize it as being a long shot anyway. So 1 week goes by, you haven't heard from your ex, no big deal, it's only been a week. 2 weeks, you're starting to get a little bit worried, but a lot of the results you found online show that the real magic doesn't happen till week 3. Well, week 3 rolls up and still nothing. Now it's time to start actively panicking, right? Well, I actually got curious about this a few years ago. So a few years ago, I decided to poll our private Facebook support group asking them one simple question. For those of you who have completed the no contact rule, how many of your exes reached out to you during that time? Turns out the research showed that in 62% of cases, your ex won't reach out to you at all during no contact. Yet, we found that almost every single one of our success stories, people who have gone through our program, gotten their exes back, have used a no contact rule. So what gives? I think that what we as a society need to do is we need to stop looking at the no contact rule as a means to make your ex miss you. That's not what matters. What matters is that what you are doing with your time during the no contact rule away from your ex, that is the magic sauce. How are you using your time? Are you cultivating new friendships and ambitions? Or are you feeling horrible that the no contact rule isn't having the desired effect you felt you were entitled to? If you are doing that, you're falling into the trap. And it really doesn't work that way. Consistently, we found that what separates our successes from our non-successes is literally how they spent their time during no contact. Be productive and invest in yourself, not your ex. And that brings me to my fourth and final struggle point, which is the roller coaster impact. So as of today, I've written over 800 articles for my website, exboyfriendrecovery.com. And being completely honest with you, it's boring. Half the time I feel like I'm just trying to find different ways to illustrate the same points, say the same things in different ways to make it sound fresh and unique. So one of the games I actually play with myself when I write these type of articles is to try to find something new to add to the conversation. And that could be a lot of things. A new hypothesis or concept I came up with, a new way of phrasing something. Recently, I've started calling the anxious avoidant relationship cycle, the relationship wheel of death, exposing you to a new philosophical teaching that has inspired me. And the no contact rule struggle points that I've been sort of talking about here for the past 8 to 10 minutes, the new twist occurred when I stumbled across a Reddit thread asking the same question that basically this video, this podcast, this article is trying to answer. What is the absolute hardest day of no contact? Well, 7 years ago, a commenter named Throwaway in Pain 1234, really fun name, left the following comment. The hardest days were when I thought I was over it, the breakup, and feeling good. Suddenly something would come along and it would all come crashing down. To be brought from high to low so quickly is always a more dramatic feeling than simply slipping lower and lower and lower. What a beautiful way to describe the roller coaster phenomenon. So the no contact rule is difficult precisely because it encourages you to quickly go from a low to a high. And those who embrace it can actually see some profound change. However, there's no telling what the future holds. Sometimes that high can be brought low with one mean text from an ex. Maybe seeing your ex's car or someone who's driving an exact version of your ex's car can bring you from that high to that low. What about your song? Or what about watching a movie that the two of you saw in theaters together? Anything can bring you down during the no contact rule because grief takes time to process. And I want to reiterate that it's okay to feel these roller coaster of emotions after a breakup. It's normal even. However, it's a mistake to give in to your fears. And to be super corny and quote one of my favorite science fiction books of all time, Dune, I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear has gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain. Here's my point. When you're dealing with the no contact rule, you are going to have all of these fears swimming around in your head. It's important to acknowledge the fears, understand why you're having the fears, but do not give in to them. Your ex isn't going to think any less of you at the end of the day. You're not going to lose your chance of winning the ex back. You're not going to lose your chance of losing yourself. In the end, the point I'm trying to make here is all the roller coaster of emotions you feel, all the struggle points you feel are worth it as long as you're investing in yourself and using your time to recover before you get back in touch with an ex. And that is really what I think sets our teachings apart from most. Most people focus on the missing aspect. Hey, use the no contact rule to miss your ex. I don't care about that. To me, that's a symptom. That's a symptom of the success of investing in yourself. You use your time wisely during the no contact rule, invest in yourself, and they will miss you as a result.